Hi everyone, happy Thursday. I wanted to pop on for a minute and talk about something. I just got off of a call with a client, and oftentimes coaching sessions and different sessions with clients inspire content that I like to share with everyone else. So it's kind of like you get to get the benefit of their coaching session. So many people over 15 years of working with people to change different lifestyle habits, health, healing, mindset. There's, of course, a lot of themes that I think are relevant to everybody. And this is kind of one of them, especially in the self-development, spiritual growth space or healing space. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about how do you know which modality or which tool you should be focusing on the most, and how do you know if you need to shift and maybe go a different area. So if you guys are hopping on, say hello. If you're catching the replay later, make sure to say hello. If you're new here, let me know where you're tuning in from. So basically the conversation with the client kind of started like this. I've been working with this client a lot on movement, and she had a lot of different restrictions and stuff in her physical health, so we kind of started there just to get the process rolling. And we've been working together for about a year. We've made a ton of progress, and oftentimes, after we make progress in one area, we start adding in different areas. We don't ever try to attack something from every area. And she kind of got into energy healing, and she saw an energy healer, and she knows, obviously that's part of what I do as well. And she basically asked, she's like, what do you think about, working on the chakras and aligning the chakras, and how does that fit in with everything that we do? I know you promote that and you encourage that, but is it going to help everything else I'm doing? And so basically what she was getting at is, should I be doing this too, or is it a waste of time? Which the answer, as often is the case, is in between. And the reason I say that is, yes, I believe firmly in energy healing and medicine. It's incredibly powerful. I think it can be transformative. I think it's amazing. There's incredible healers out there. There's ways to self-facilitate energy work. It cannot be overlooked in the big picture spectrum. What I think the issue is with that is 99% of the time people, I call it the Amazon Prime culture, people want to kind of one click, get something, get results sort of thing, and energy work kind of appeases to that. They're like, oh, I'll go to an energy healer and they'll assess my chakras and everything will be fine. That's rarely is the case. And I've done energy healing and practiced the healing arts for many, many years. I've studied it. I've seen everyone from a shaman to a Reiki master. I've done incredible things in the healing and energy work space. So this isn't coming from a space of I don't understand it, or I don't get it, or I haven't studied it. This is coming from a space of, I think often energy work should be a very small part of the spectrum, and it's typically made the whole spectrum. And what I mean by that is, in life, if you're struggling with health or, deep-seated patterns where you self-sabotage, or you're constantly going backwards, you can't seem to make progress, you have thoughts that just go crazy, your mindset, you're always thinking negatively, and you can't progress in any area of your life. Well, energy healing, sure, maybe your root chakra or something is a little out of alignment, but that's not the cause. That's just a symptom of this bigger issue, which needs to be actually addressed through some big mindset work, some subconscious reprogramming. A lot of times, a huge percentage of the time, those habits and patterns are actually coming from trauma and a dysregulated nervous system. So if you followed me for any amount of time, or you've been to my website, you see that I start with two things always. The subconscious mind, which is 95%, and the somatic body. Those are both 95% of your thoughts, behaviors, actions, health, everything, 95%. The other 5% is your conscious thought, your mindset, what you're thinking consciously. And I would almost put energy work in that, even though it's really more on the somatic body. So you can go and get energy healing all day, every day, but if you're not working on your mindset, you're not working on your patterns and your behaviors, you're not looking at the deep root of why you had the issue to begin with, and you're not looking at your somatic body trauma, and then looking at, hey, what am I eating? How am I taking care of my body? Am I moving? Am I exercising? Am I supporting myself in any other way, or am I expecting this one little thing, this one modality over here to do all of this? Because again, people default to energy work or these certain modalities because it sounds like the solution. They're like, oh, well, I'm sabotaging and I'm unmotivated and I feel like crap and I have no energy and I keep getting in really bad relationships. So that must be something that means my chakras are out of alignment. That's it. Like, let me just go over here and get an energy session and I'm good. And it really puts all the responsibility on the healer, which again is very attractive to people. We all would love to show up and have someone else do the work. We don't want to do the work, the messy work, where we have to really look at what we're eating and really look at what we're watching and spending our time on. Look at how we're showing up in the world. Look at our negative thoughts. We definitely don't want to look at subconscious programming and beliefs and have to go into that messy room. We don't want to talk about trauma and get on a table and have to facilitate nervous system regulation. That doesn't sound very sexy. That sounds way too clinical. But this is where the healing happens, and this is where the transformation and the important work happens. So whether I'm coaching somebody in business, trying to facilitate healing through, for a physical issue, or just help people overcome depression and anxiety, those cores are 99% of the time, like always, where the problem is. It's really, really, really rare that someone's suffering with chronic fatigue, depression, anxiety, self-sabotage, again, poor relationships, malaise, all these negative things, and it's because their chakra's out of balance. Now, I want to make it very clear that I'm not invalidating the power of energy work. I'm just saying that I think as a whole, the energy healing field, especially the very commercialized version of it, where I'm not trying to call anybody out right now, but I kind of am. I'm connected to so many people over the years that are like, oh yeah, I'm a sage, unicorn, goddess, energy healer, master. Like, what does that even mean? Like, a lot of these people haven't even had any formal training in the healing arts. They haven't went through sort of like initiation and attunement process that is supposed to happen in these fields. Reiki work and energy work as a whole actually still is a clinical practice, and it has been for literally thousands and thousands of years. And you have a lot of people that are just kind of like claiming it. I feel the same thing about like mediums. I think that is a true element of humans, like a skill, something that can be acquired and tapped into. And I think a lot of people are just capitalizing on it and pretending to be mediums and do readings and stuff to prey on vulnerable people that want that instant quick fix. So energy work, again, incredibly, incredibly powerful. Let me just show you these two books. So these two books, if you're interested in energy work to support what else you're doing, Donna Eden, her books are incredible. She is like the energy work guru and master. Again, it's not this, I read 2 minutes about Reikis and crystals and suddenly I'm a healer stuff. Like, this stuff is deep. So that's the kind of work I think should be facilitated in the healing arts, in the energy space. But people go to these energy healers and they expect this total huge transformation of these physical and mental symptoms that literally can never really truly be assessed entirely by that. Again, the percentage of that being the case is so small that it's irrelevant, in my opinion. So again, if you are having fatigue or you're having all these other issues, somatic body, subconscious mind, right after those two things, you have to look at your lifestyle. You have to look at, what are you eating? Are you nutrient deficient? Everybody is. Are you overladen with toxins? Everybody is. You have to look at those things, because energy work is not going to touch that. Energy work doesn't come in and magically fill your body up with the right vitamins and nutrients. It doesn't magically eliminate toxins. These things are real issues. So energy doesn't override the tangible, elements of our lifestyles and our environments. And I think that's really important to note, because there's also a lot of shame in the kind of spiritual healing communities around, if you're sick or you have an illness or you can't heal, that you're just not kind of enlightened enough, you haven't done the right therapies or the right modalities, or you haven't believed enough, you're manifesting it, you're attracting it. I could go on and on with these kind of bullshit ideas of you should be able to heal yourself. And I kind of bought into them, like struggling with chronic illness for a long time. I put all my eggs in this, if I just believe I can heal basket. And it kept me from looking at the deeper physiological things that were going on, that energy work or mindset were never going to touch. They were never going to touch that. My nervous system was fried from like being in fight or flight. My adrenals were tanked. It was affecting my thyroid, so many different things. My chakras being aligned, they're a supportive measure in my healing journey. They have been, but it wasn't going to fix everything. So again, this was kind of spurred by the conversation with my client where she asked, hey, what do you think about this? And in short, my answer was yes, absolutely. Use it as a small tool in your tool belt. But the other thing that's like kind of unfortunate about people trying to make it the end all be all is because it can never be the end all be all, they won't ever use it at all. So they expect to go to this healer and get magically healed overnight from 30 years of something that's happening in their body. It doesn't work, and then they're like, oh yeah, energy healing, I tried that once, it didn't work. Well, it's like going to the gym one time. You're not going to get in shape, you're not going to feel the benefits, anything like that. So then people abandon ship, and they do that, like it's a classic cycle with people. They try all these different things, but they never fully commit. They don't stay consistent with it. And then they also don't actually create this sort of spectrum of wellness and transformation and healing with nutrition, mindset, subconscious mind. You got to work on your trauma and your nervous system and regulate that. You have to look at what you're eating. You have to look at all of those things collectively. And that is what my brands and my mission is all about. Because again, I went down a lot of different avenues, full force and exclusively, and kind of fell face first, like every single time. Like I never got the progress. I kind of drank the Kool-Aid and wanted to believe it was the end all be all, and it wasn't. And every time I backed up and looked at, hey, I can't sacrifice focusing on this to focus on here. I got to, work on all of it. That's when change and transformation really started to happen. That was when I actually made the decision to close my gym because people were coming there, and even though we did so much more than fitness, they still were showing up wanting to just change their body, when really most of them needed to change so many other things, their mindset, their subconscious mind, all of that. And so, yeah, I just think it's an important conversation to be had, that these tools are a great addition to the bigger, deeper work, but they shouldn't be substituted. They shouldn't, if you're a practitioner or anything else, I think it's important to be transparent in that, to understand the scope of practice and the relevancy to energy work and how it pertains to people. Make sure you're not over-promising. Some people get into that because they had this amazing transformation themselves, and then they think everyone else is going to have that same thing. And that's where it gets really dangerous, because one person's anecdotal experience really causes the whole like, oh, this is magic, it's going to transform your life kind of thing, but it's still very, very limited. So let me see if there's any, I can't see any of the notifications. So I don't know if anybody's commented or anything, but if you have, I'll check this afterwards. And yeah, I just wanted to share this little piece of information or encouragement of big picture, big spectrum, getting the right support that's relevant to your issues and working with somebody that understands what modality you actually need. I think that is one of the most lacking things with coaches, healers, practitioners, even in medicine. You have naturopaths, you have chiropractors, and there's a quote that says, if the only tool you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And I think that applies to practitioners so profoundly, because if you don't understand all these other modalities and what they do and how they can work and all these different symptomologies, you'll just say, oh, well, my what I do can fix it. I'm the one. And you really do a disservice to the people that you're working with if you have that mentality. So that's all I wanted to share. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Hope you're having a good week, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.